All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Daytona. Mark Dantuma and Greg Boydell have the front row. Ed Harris, John Tobias on the second row. Mayor Bixler and Pat Boyce on the third row. Joe Gauthier, Pomps Cramner the fourth row. Andy Patton and Terry Landis round out the top 10. Roger Craig starts in 11th, next to Armando Melgoza in 12th. Tim Chapman and Bob Curtis rounding out the field. Everybody getting stacked up on the grid, ready to go. Interesting note about the field tonight, one Ford, one Toyota, and a whole lot of beautiful bow ties out on track. Mark Dantuma did get the win at Talladega last week in his rookie race. Can he return to victory lane here tonight? He's in a Ford. It's unlikely. And it looks like Bob Curtis is not going to make the grid, as all the drivers roll out for their pace lap. Everybody getting stacked up out on track. Tim Chapman, the only driver on track that did not qualify. At least I did not see his qualifying time. I could be wrong, but under the lights at Daytona, everybody itching to go green. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Pace car is in. And the green flag flies. They are underway at Daytona. Remember, it will take a lap or so to get these trucks up to full speed. Everybody trying to settle in. We got one driver blinking mid-pack as they come down the back straightaway. Everybody still side by side. Dantuma leads the inside. Boydell on the outside. John Tobias right on Boydell's bumper, trying to push him. and Greg Boydell leads lap 1. Now coming in tonight, Andy Patton does lead the asphalt points over Mayor Bixler and Greg Boydell. But all the points are very close at the moment. That outside line starting to build some momentum here early. Boydell tried to slide down to the bottom. Daytona pulled back up even too quickly. Now that outside line led by, Boydell gets down to the bottom. Now John DeBias leading that outside line. That outside line really seems to be moving. Oh! Boydell looked like he came down across the nose of Daytona. John DeBias has a problem as well. Mark Daytona also involved as the caution flies. Hey, good evening, Derek. Let's take a look at that incident. Looking down from the blimp, and you see Boydell comes down, and one of the trucks up above came down. Looks like John DeBias, he got a bump from below and came down as well. Great save by DeBias, though. Keeps it, or gets it back up on track. Hobbs Cramner has moved to the lead with Roger Craig now in second. Mayor Bixler in third. Andy Patton up to fourth. Daytona slides back to fifth. I doubt they come in for fuel this time. They don't need it, and they're not within the fuel window. But it looks like Daytona's going to come in and lead several of them in. Likely coming in to get fresh tires, Ed Harris, Joe Gauthier, Armando Melgoza, and Greg Boydell all in. Bob Curtis is not taken to the track, and it looks like Pat Boyce is out of the race. Derek, you're right. Could have been a lot worse. However, for this series, Retreads Racing does have the damage turned off. Does help keep everybody in the fight. Lights are out. Everybody stacks back up. Andy Patton in the 87 on the outside. If he can pull off the win tonight, would be the first driver to pull off a Tuesday night sweep. And here we go into the zone. Green flag back in the air. Hobbs Cramner quickly clears traffic. Roger Craig slides into second. Excuse me. Mayor Bixler now up into third. As they all come. Oh, big wreck out on the backstretch. The caution is out. Mayor Bixler had one heck of a ride. Let's take a look at this incident. Looking down from the blimp. Oh, looks like Bixler just tried to move in, thought he had room. Terry, fortunately, Terry kept it out of the wall, and Bixler will keep going. Give me just a minute, folks. I'm trying to stop coughing. Everybody will be stacking back up, getting ready to go green. It appears Pat Boyce lost connection earlier. They are getting him waved back to the lead lap. Everybody stacked up and ready to go on the backstretch. All right, here they come through 3 and 4. Pace car about to dive in. Pat Boyce is just about caught back up. Pace car is in. The green flag flies once again at Daytona. Everybody gets rolling. Pat Boyce did manage to catch the pack right before the green flag dropped. He is back on the lead lap. Top 3 quickly go single file, but that outside line At the moment, not moving. Out of turn 2, though, it does look like they got some momentum. Led by looks like Tim Chapman, who started tail of the field, already up here battling for the lead. Pops Cramner continues to lead for the moment. Meanwhile, mid-pack, drivers trying to get pulled back up. Armando Melgoza currently runs in 6th. They're on the bottom, 4th car in line. Leaving a little bit of an opening there. Andy Patino did not try to make it down. Terry Landis back in 11th. Ed Harris in 12th. Pat Boyce in 13th. And Bob Curtis is back out on track. Not sure what happened with Bob. He is on track several laps down. If we get a caution, they will. Oh! And we've got a caution. Expect Bob to get a few laps back. Looks like Andy Patton caught up in this one. Let's see what happened to Andy. There's Andy in the 87 up top. Oh, Chapman got loose, bumped off the car below, just clips Andy and turns him around. Mayor Bixler and Andy Patton both on pit road. Pop's trying to hunt down the pace car. They've got to be close on their fuel window. We could see a lot of the field in this time. And here they come. Pops is leading everybody onto pit road. Looks like Pat Boyce is going to stay out. Andy Patton just completed his stop. Bixler's also completed his. So Pat is the only driver to not come in. Bob Curtis is on pit road. That is a bit of a surprise. I expected to see him get the wave around, but the lights are out on the pace car. And it looks like Mark Dantuma will win the race off pit road. He'll start in second. Looks like fuel only for most of the field. Tim Chapman took right side tires, and it looks like John Tobias took 4 tires and fuel. So Pat Boyce will be in control of the restart. Pace car dives to pit road. Into the zone, the green flag flies. It looked like Pat came up just a little bit on the start as he came up through the gears, and it pushed Daytona up. Daytona holds on to it, but that outside line broke up really quickly. Terry Landis, the other car on the outside, way behind Daytona and Boydell. Now Joe Gauthier hops to the outside line as well. Through 3 and 4, everybody tightens back up. And Daytona leads it at the line, but as soon as they get past the line, Pat Boyce slips ahead. A lot of bobbling going on as they hit full speed. Bob Curtis staying out of the lead pack at the moment. Side by side all the way through the field. Boydell gets a little squirrely coming down the front stretch. Almost got into Pops on the bottom. Pops comes up and almost taps Daytona. A lot of bobbling in the field here tonight. Andy Patton hanging out at the back for the moment. Might be the safest place on the track. Let's see if we can dial up Andy's in-car camera. Here they come down across the start-finish line. Everybody moving around. These trucks just do not have a ton of grip as they go off into 1 and 2. Everybody full throttle all the way around, just cracking the throttle every now and then to not bump the truck ahead. A lot of wobbling and a little smoke ahead. And one truck is around, the caution is out. And Andy Patton drives through it. Mark Daytona is up front. Let's see what happened to Armando. Looking down from the blimp. Oh, big bump into the bumper. And just a big stack up. Armando ends up in the wall. Several other trucks catch a piece. Taking a look from another angle at Terry Landis as he's back behind. There's the bump as Pops comes up the track and bumps another truck into the wall, and the stack up begins. Mark Dantuma back in the lead. Looks like Pat Boyce is coming in. Dantuma is coming in as well. Greg Boydell will claim the lead. Greg Boydell has the lead. Pops Cramner in second. Roger Craig, Terry Landis, and Joe Gauthier round out the top five. Mark Dantuma leads them off pit road. Comes out in ninth, right behind Andy Patton. Everybody stacks back up front. Lights are out on the pace car. Greg Boydell and Pops Cramner on the front row. And what do you say we get a little bit loud on the restart? I'm going to stop talking. When the green flag drops, you guys crank it up and listen to all that horsepower. The pace car is in. Here they come. Green flag back in the... Oh! Crank it up, y'all! And they are wrecking down the front stretch. The caution is back out. Roger Craig, John DeBias caught up. Ed Harris, Mayor Bixler, and Tim Chapman all involved. Let's see what happened. All right, here they were coming out of turn 4. And oh, John DeBias and Roger Craig get together. Pops goes through the infield. Then a lot of checking up and a lot of bumping. Tim Chapman comes up, gets into him, and there you see Ed Harris and several others through the infield. The lead now goes to Joe Gauthier. He's out front for the first time tonight. Now they are within their fuel window. They should be able to go the distance from here. So any driver that has not been in the last few laps we're likely to see back in may also see some tire changes. And here they come. It looks like the bulk of the field is coming in. Joe Gauthier, Terry Landis, Greg Boydell, Pat Boyce, Mark Dantuma, Armando Melgoza, Pomps Cramner, Ed Harris, John Tobias, Roger Craig, Tim Chapman, all in. Mayor Bixler is going to stay out, as is Andy Patton. Well, this group coming out right now, they did top off on fuel. Ed Harris, Pomps Cramner, and it looks like Tim Chapman took tires, the only ones that did. Everybody else was fuel only on that stop. The lights are back out as they begin to stack up for the restart. We saw in the last restart, things got a little squirrely at the front. Hopefully they will get the green without a problem this time. And here they come down the front stretch. Pace car dives to pit road. Mayor Bixler in control, green flag back in the air. Bixler quickly clears the outside line. He brought Terry Landis with him. Greg Boydell now in third, down the bottom. He is pulling clear. That outside line led by Andy Patton at the moment. Only 2 trucks, but help is on the way. John Tobias just hopped to the outside as well. Coming out of turn 4, Mayor Bixler leads. Andy Patton in that outside line starting to make up a little bit of ground. Now Pomps Cramner hops to the high side as well to give him a hand. Wow, a couple of drivers looked like just kissed the safer barrier on the outside, coming through 1 and 2. Bob Curtis has gotten a couple laps back. He is staying with the pack. Andy Patton has a bigger outside line, and they are starting to pull up. That outside line really seems to be struggling getting into turn 1. A lot of wobble as they come down the backstretch. Pat Boyce now back up in the fight, currently in 6th place. He is closing in ahead. Whoa, that top 3, Mayor Bixler was fine, but Landis got a little squirrely, as did Boydell. And that outside line coming down the backstretch really fanning out. Everybody trying to find a way to move forward. Andy Patton still leads an outside line, but can't get pulled back up even with Mayor Bixler. And they're trying like crazy to get 3 wide mid-pack. A little bit early, fellas. Tim Chapman back in 9th place on the outside. Right on. Wow. Bumping it into turn 3 with Pops. These trucks, you can bump draft into the turns, but it's almost never a good idea except the last lap. The top 3 have cleared the out. Oh! Wreck behind caution is out. Looks like Tobias involved. Let's see if we can see what just happened. There's Tobias in the 21 truck up top. Oh! The truck ahead bounced off the wall, came down, collected Tobias. Pops Cramner just had nowhere to go. Tim Chapman, Armando Melgoza, and Bob Curtis all to pit road. Really surprised Bob is not staying out more to get some of his laps back here. And here they come into pit road. About half the field, Mayor Bixler, Terry Landis, Pat Boyce, Andy Patton, and Roger Cragen, Greg Boydell, and Mark D'Antuma both stay out. Joe Gauthier now to 3rd, Ed Harrison 4th, Pops Cramner in 5th. Andy Patton will come off pit road back in 10th. Remember, he is the driver that could pull off the sweep tonight after winning the 360 race earlier at Lernerville. They'll have less than 10 to go when the green flag drops. All right, here they come out of turn 4. Pace car dives to pit road again. Boydell in control. And the green flag flies. 9 laps to go at Daytona. Boydell gets a good jump on the field. Joe Gauthier on the bottom trying to close up. Dantuma alongside, as he's got Pops on his bumper. The rest of the field trying to pull back up. And Dantuma takes the lead down to the bottom. Pops leads the outside. They are 3 wide on the cell. Holy cow. A lot of bumping. Ed Harris sliding backward just a little bit. 3 wide mid-pack. Ed Harris finally able to get back down in line. It did split the field for a moment. Pat Boyce in 8th, now pulling back up to the lead group. Meanwhile, Mark Dantuma has Greg Boydell on the bumper, pushing him. Pops Cramner has Tobias on his bumper. Both drivers getting big push from behind. Pops has the momentum coming into turn 4. Dantuma leads it at the line with 7 to go. Oh, a bit of bumping. Pops is in the wall. Pops is upside down. Now he's right side up. Terry Landis catches a piece of it. Dantuma also went around. And caution is back out. All right, let's take a look at this from the blimp. Pops is on the outside line. As they go off into turn 1, looks like Boydell comes up just a little bit, gets into Pops, and that's where it all goes wrong. Mark Dantuma, who's out front. There you see it. Dantuma gets a little bit of a bump, gets it squared away, but Boydell gets back into him, and man, what a stack of bind. Greg Boydell now has the lead, followed by Joe Gauthier, Roger Craig, John Tobias, Terry Landis. I suspect we'll see a few drivers on pit road for tires. I may be wrong here. Mark Daytona is the only driver coming in. Remember, they do not have damage turned on, but they can get tire wear. Will Daytona take tires? And it does not look like fuel only for Mark Daytona. He's got to be planning in case they have a green-white checkered finish. So Greg Boydell will be in control. They'll get the green with 4 laps to go. Here they come, out of turn 4. Pace car hits pit road. They'll have 4 to go at the line. And the green flag flies again. Boydell clears traffic immediately, and a little bit of door banging between Roger Craig and Joe Gauthier. John Tobias right behind. Here comes Terry Landis. Outside line starting to form up as Tim Chapman hops up top. And the outside line pulls ahead, led by Joe. They are 3 wide, back behind, off into 3. Whoa, Chapman gets way out of shape. Gathers it up. Everybody keeps going. Three laps to go at Daytona. Still anybody's race. John Tobias, big push for Joe. Roger Craig up top trying to build a run. He's got help from Mayor Bix. Oh, wrecking on the backstretch. The caution is back out. We will go to a green-white checkered. And they are still wrecking as they get to turn 3. Let's take a look at what happened here. Looking down from the blimp, and it looks like that 3 wide got into Boydell and sent him around. And it all went wrong from there. Take a look as they come into turn 2, looking at Boydell. Oh, the car up top, the truck up top comes down, clips Boydell, and the chain reaction, everybody gets caught up. Joe Gauthier has the lead. Tobias in second. Tim Chapman in third. Terry Landis in fourth. Mark Dantuma now in fifth. Well, looks like Mayor Bixler is going to move up into fifth. Now, will anybody come in this time? Greg Boydell is coming in. Everybody else is staying out. Boydell had a heck of a ride. Will he take tires and hope for a little bit of an advantage here? No, it'll be fuel only for Greg Boydell as everybody stacks up for the restart. We have seen some wild green-white checkered finishes this season. Will we see another one here? Joe Gauthier and John Tobias on the front row. Tim Chapman and Terry Landis on the second row. Mayor Bixler, Mark Dantuma on the third row. Ed Harris and Armando Melgoza have the fourth row. Roger Craig, Pops Cramner round out the top 10. Andy Patton, Greg Boydell, and Pat Boyce rounding out the field. And the pace car is back in. Into the zone. Green flag flies. 2 problems on the restart. The caution is back out. Look like John Tobias is where it started. And that's going to shake things up a bit. Let's take a look. Looking down from the blimp, Tobias on the outside. He gets into the zone. Oh, he comes down just a little bit. Gets into the truck below and it sends him to the wall. And several other trucks get caught up. Looking back behind, Bob Curtis catches a piece of it. And there you see Armando in the wall. Pops Cramner also gets up there. Well, that was an interesting turn of events. They will get one more attempt at the green-white checkered. They've caught up to the pace car. Everybody going to get settled in. Lights are out on the pace car. Here they come through 3 and 4, the final restart of the night. The pace car dives to pit road. And the green flag flies for the final time. 2 laps to go at Daytona, and already some problems behind. The top 2 get separated briefly. Tim Chapman out to the front. Now trying to reel in Terry Landis and Joe Gauthier. Andy Patton back in 7th, starting to make some moves toward the front. Joe Gauthier is below the apron. Landis ended up below, now Chapman up top. And Dan Tuma is caught up. Oh, they are wrecking behind. The white flag flies one more time around. Terry Landis on the bottom, Tim Chapman up top. Armando Melgoza had a problem. Oh, Tim is bumping. Out of turn 2, the last chance to get a really big run. And Roger Craig comes up. Chapman's in the wall. Landis still has the lead. Now Mayor Bixler has a nose ahead. Dan Tuma pulling right back up to his bumper, but Landis out front out of 4. They are wrecking behind. And here they come. Landis pulls off the win. Hobbs Cramner comes home in 2nd, and Boydell survives the chaos to finish 3rd. And what a wild last lap. See if we can see what happened. And here they come out of turn 4. Pat Boyce trying to get a run. They all start bumping off each other. Greg Boydell back in the mix as well. Boydell just ends up going through the grass and takes 3rd through the infield. Well, definitely a wild finish there. And let's see if we can get a word with our top 3. And I guess we will start with our winner, Terry Landis. Oh, Greg's available. We'll start with third place, Greg Boydell. Greg, to come home in third through the grass, that was impressive. Greg, you got me? Okay, we'll try and get a word with Greg here in a minute. Let's talk to Pops Cramner. Well, it looked like you guys nailed it on the restart. You and Terry managed to check out, and man, that worked out to your favor.
Yeah, it did, sir. Definitely was good pushing Terry around there, and he was good and fast at the end. I had some fresh rubber and definitely had enough fuel. I had to pit late.
Well, it definitely all worked out in your favor, and that strategy gave you guys enough space between the chaos behind you. You managed to keep enough of a gap to keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, I think everybody owes everybody else some fenders and bumpers. A lot of equipment gets used up here, and hopefully we can turn that around so everybody comes out here with a truck in one piece.
Well, man, still one heck of a run tonight. Congratulations. Is there anybody you'd like to thank?
I definitely want to thank the Massive Avenger for putting this on, and you too, Doug, for the great broadcast, and everybody, the Salty Dogs, and all the help they give, and just a great bunch of guys. Definitely want to mention Bill Calder and praying for speedy recovery for him. Just want to keep him in our prayers.
Well, great job tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And our winner, Terry Landis. Terry, you definitely had a bumpy first half of this race and managed to turn it all around at the end.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. I can't believe what happened there.
It was really impressive seeing you and Cramner just kind of get a gap on the field, and it was enough to keep you out of the trouble on the last lap.
Yeah, we said just go for it, and we did, and he stayed tied up on my back end like that, and that's how we made it through.
Well, it definitely worked out, and having a great pusher at Daytona really, really helps. But man, you came from 10th place to come home with the win. An awesome night.
Hey, thanks, Doug. Yeah, I would have pushed Joe all the way if he wouldn't run out of fuel. I would settle for second. I would push him straight for a win, but it is what it is. He ran a little tight and had to, run out of fuel like that. But anyway, yeah, it was a good run.
Well, man, great job and a great win. Is there anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, you, Doug, for putting the show on because you do a heck of a job. And shout out to Bill. Hope you're feeling a little better there, Bill. Master Avenger Racing and Steve's Custom Golf Clubs and C2C for giving us a place to race. And Kreitz Old Track Parts. Galen's Homegrown Popcorn. That's the best popcorn on the internet. And if you put cart in the checkout, you'll get 15% off. And the guys back at KSR and all the admins get this thing done. And my wife, Judy.
Great job tonight. Great win, Terry.
Thanks, Doug.
Terry Landis goes to victory lane, folks. No racing tomorrow night, but don't worry. Tune in. We will entertain you. The Unicorn or I will be streaming, and we look forward to seeing you then. Hope everybody had as much fun as we did tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.